cross over to Mr. Achille Como, the president of Planet Peace, a political and environmental NGO live in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, to shed more light on what is happening on the ground. Good evening, Mr. Como.
Yeah, good evening.
Thank you for joining us. Now, the oppositional party has been very adamant that they do not recognize the Outtara presidency. Has the Ivorian president acknowledged their demands?
Of course, no. If things come to such a head, it's because Mr. Ouattara did not take into account the demand. And, for the time being, as you have said, the opposition party has put into place what we call a transitional council, because they want to the civilian to administrate Côte d'Ivoire. And by doing so, they don't recognize Mr. Ouattara as a president.
I see. So now you were monitoring the elections outside of Abidjan. Did you see or experience any of the violence that we've been reading about in the press? And where was this violence reported?
Yeah, of course. Everywhere in the country, we witnessed many violences, and even people died. Many people died because of that election. And, the electoral materials were also broken and even burned in some places. And some of the protesters even burned the local offices of the electoral management body.
I see. Now, I have to ask...
We also witnessed, the inter-community clashes in Yamoussoukro and Bukanda, and even in Daoukro.
Now, on the same note, as you said, there were reports of violence coming out through the media. Now, there was also reports that people were fleeing the country after the elections. How true are these reports?
Yeah, it is true. But I have heard that. And in the border of Liberia and Côte d'Ivoire, and those from that part of Côte d'Ivoire are moving to Liberia just to put themselves, in a safe condition.
In a safe condition. So these are people that are well off enough to be able to leave the country because of what they feel is a sense of oppression, correct?
Yeah. And we will assist, two governments. The legal one will be shared by Mr. Ouattara, and the legitimate one, which will be chaired by Mr. Bédier. And the mission of that National Transition Council is to put into place a transitional government, and to convene a national conference for peace and reconciliation in Côte d'Ivoire. And they will also put in do everything that Côte d'Ivoire, the elections, they will organize all the institutions just to reinforce or put. Do you hear me?
Yes, I do. I can hear you very clear.
Yeah. The role of one of the missions of the National Transitional Council is to strengthen the institution that is in charge of organizing the election in Côte d'Ivoire.
I see.
Because this is one of the requests.
Now, my next question is if the opposition continues to reject the legitimacy of the president, and the president continues to refuse to acknowledge their demands, where is democracy headed for Ivory Coast, especially now that citizens are leaving, and especially with the civil war in the past that left more than 3,000 people dead? Where does this road lead?
Yeah, I think that if the opposition rejects Mr. Ouattara as a president, and Mr. Ouattara want to impose himself as president of Cote d'Ivoire. This is, a step back for democracy, and the people of Ivory Coast will take, the responsibility in such, battle, because most of the Ivorian people want Ouattara to withdraw from, the presidency, and that they will not recognize him. And even the opposition parties have said that the watchword is meant of civil disobedience is maintained. And the policemen have surrounded even the house of Mr. Bédier, who will, address the nation in the forthcoming hours.
Thank you very much for the insight, Mr.
Journalists, preventing the international journalists to, participate or to cover, the address of Mr. Bédier.
I see. Thank you very much for that insight, Mr. Como.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.